And bang, 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 bang. Piss Missile Pete. How's it going, everybody? Pete Alonso walks it off in the bottom of the 10th to secure the series victory for the New York Mets against the St. Louis Cardinals, 7-6 today. How's it going, everybody? Thank you guys all so much for chiming in. We are pumped up. We're feeling good, and we do have some unfortunate news to share that we'll be getting into in a second regarding Max Scherzer. But for at least a minute, let's appreciate this game. Let's appreciate this victory for the team in Queens. The Mets had a strong game today, a little back and forth against these Cards, but they ended up legging it out after blowing the save in the ninth to come back and win an absolute towering home run over 440 feet for Pete Alonso, your MLB RBI leader. Damn, does that feel good. Again, shout out to all you guys. Thank you all so much for chiming in, folks. I'll be breaking down everything that you guys need to possibly know about this Mets game, whether you're watching it or not. And if you're in the live stream, thank you guys so much for being here. If you're here on replay as well, thank you so much. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. Help us get to 100 likes for the first short-term goal and help us get a 16K subs for the next short-term goal here on the channel. But guys, we got so much to break into. Again, don't get me wrong. There is a negative that came today, but at least the Mets legged out this victory. We have something to be happy about as the Mets are now going to be entering a 6-game road trip starting tomorrow in Colorado against those Rockies. But what a massive home run. I just got to appreciate another minute, guys. Let's savor the moment. I see comments. I see donations. I'll be getting them in a second. But yes, Jubilee, the zeal of approval, 100%. That was a huge clutch bomb by the New York Mets and Pete Alonso. Look, the Mets, they've shown the resiliency. We've seen it time and time again. And they did that once more, and it surely will not be the last. But we've been dying. We haven't seen many home runs to walk it off for the Mets, if at all, this year. How many times does that happen? Once this season, maybe, if at all. This might be the first. Either way, Alonso with another bomb. He now has 10 home runs on the season. And Alonso, like I said, now leads the league in RBIs. He entered today with 33. Now he has 36. When you go 3 for 4 with a home run, 3 RBIs, a run scored, and a stolen base, you're doing something right. And my Wi-Fi might be dropping a little bit, so I do apologize, guys, if my quality in the video isn't great for a couple minutes. My Wi-Fi has been finicky lately. I don't know why, but we'll figure it out. No less. So pumped up. Let's go. Pistol Pete. Love that man to death. The Mets get the victory. So, guys, we got to break down what transpired in this game along with the Max Scherzer news. So, guys, I think we'll focus on the game first. We'll get to the Scherzer news after that because I initially wanted to do a separate video on it, but I think I'm actually going to have a video come out for you guys tomorrow regarding Scherzer and how the Mets may potentially operate with things now, knowing that they are not going to have him for an extended period of time, as heartbreaking as that is to say. But I'm feeling electric. This was a massive win for them, so that is definitely a plus. The Mets are now 12 games above 500, and they won not just a 3 out of 4 game set against the Cardinals, but they now won the entire season series against these same Cardinals. The Mets in total won 3 in this series, and they won 2 in the last, and they only lost 2. So the Mets won 5-2 against the Cardinals this year in 7 games. That's just phenomenal. So proud of them. Again, massive victory. Shout out to everyone involved. But guys, let's break down this game. Let's talk about it. Again, appreciate you all being here. Continue smashing that like and subscribe on, folks. Mets win 7-6 in a walk-off fashion. Let me know your thoughts in the chat right now. And like I said, after I break down the game, break down the Scherzer news, I'll be answering all your comments, questions, donations, and concerns like I always do here on the channel. But guys, the Mets start off the day with, you saw Dakota Hudson was on the mound for the Cardinals. The first time he's facing the Mets here in the regular season. The Mets faced him a bunch in spring training and did well against him, but now they're facing him for the first time. And yes, Chris Bassett was on the bump for the Mets today. And awfully similar to what we saw with Scherzer, too. You know, Bassett didn't have his best stuff today, but more than anything, he kept the Mets in it. And more than anything else, the Mets, like they have done now in 8 of their last 9 games, scored a run in the first inning. That held true again today for the Amazons, as it started off with a Brandon Nimmo leadoff single, because of course Brandon Nimmo does that. Extend that man, give him the bag. He has been simply lights out. Without Brandon Nimmo, the Mets are nowhere where they are right now this season. He has been such an amazing leadoff hitter. Just such a phenomenal player, and had a great snag and center today, looking great with the glove, as did Jeff McNeil. McNeil's another star today, and Lindor, a lot of them, truly. But Nimmo leads things off with that leadoff single. Then Lindor walks today. Lindor broke it, unfortunately, with the final out there in the bottom of the ninth. But Lindor, throughout the day and from yesterday, had an 8 straight on-base streak regarding hits, singles, and hit by pitches. He's looked really good and locks it at the plate. I'm proud of Lindor out of all the criticism that he's had a couple days ago and throughout the year. I'm proud that he's been looking better at the plate as of late. But no less, Lindor walks. Alonso gets his first RBI. Wouldn't be the last of the day, just like yesterday, too. Alonso opposite field RBI single. I've been waiting to see more of Alonso spraying the field like he did in April. He did it again today, thankfully, to bring in the first run for the Mets. And then Lindor, Alonso both do a double steal in this one. Started from Lindor there in the top of the first. Then Jeff McNeil takes first off a fielder's choice, and Lindor ended up scoring by beating a throw. McNeil had a little chopper that was right shallow in the infield, but Lindor, thankfully, was able to get to home in time to beat the tag by the catcher. And again, the Mets off to an early 2-0 lead. And that, again, did not end up lasting long for the Mets, unfortunately, because in the bottom, and as we got then to the second inning for the Cardinals got their first run of the day. And that was thanks to, yes, a Juan Yepez solo home run, his first of the day, and he has a couple on the year now. Young stud of a rookie for the Cardinals who did great today. I think he went 3 for 5, looked really good and locked in, unfortunately, for our Mets. But Yepez got a solo bomb to make it a 1-run ball game. And then in the third inning, Paul Goldschmidt does what he does best, not just against the Mets every single year, but against every single team so far this year. He's been raking along with Arenado. He has been their best hitter. Got a solo bomb today, no doubter, and that tied the game in the third. A couple bombs given up by Bassett. A little unusual. Bassett, again, didn't have his best stuff today, but he kept the Mets in it here, because then we get to the fifth inning, and the Cardinals get their first lead of the day thanks to a Paul Goldschmidt RBI double. They have the lead at that point 3-2, but in the bottom of the fifth, Luis Gourmet leads things off with a double. Brennan Nimmo gets an RBI ground out, thankfully, and that tied the game then there. Lindor with a single. Alonso walks, and that almost hit him. That was a pitch that was literally going to drill Alonso right in the head, an off-speed pitch, but that thankfully ducked and went away for. And unlike Arenado, the schmuck that he is, the absolute softy that he is, Alonso, like he did in the first series against the Cardinals after getting drilled in the face, no less, took first, and we saw Alonso take first off of that walk. Again, a close pitch. Again, if that was Arenado, he's charging the mound. I'm surprised he didn't, because Arenado got a fastball up high and in today, and he didn't whine about it. So who would have thought? Maybe times are changing, but no less, the Mets were able to tie things there in the fifth for them, but that wouldn't be it. They would continue to tack on runs, because Jeff McNeil, McHits as we love to call, yes, Jeff McNeil, he gets another 2 RBI single. This man single-handedly pistol whipped the Cardinals this entire series. He's had multiple RBIs over the past multiple games from the Mets. It's felt like every single game in this series, he has been locked in, looking so good. Jeff McHits, he's not just back, he's at an all-star level. And he didn't just have it with the offense today, he also had it with the glove. Something that the Mets did not have from their third baseman in Eduardo Escobar today. Eduardo had 2 errors today. He's had 4 errors alone. Yes, 4 errors over the past couple games at third. Really sucks. Escobar is not going through it well. Today, he was awarded because he's officially 10 years in the league today, which was great. But that was the best positive of Eduardo. He's not just struggling at the plate still. He went 0 for 4 today, but he is struggling with that glove. And man, oh man, is that frustrating to see. And that led, again, a couple runs for the Cardinals today, but not all of them were charged. All of them were charged on Bassett. But point is that, again, another 2 throwing errors from Eduardo. We brought you in to not be J.D. Davis, so stop acting like him. It's as simple as that. So hopefully that changes soon, because that is frustrating. But no less, the Mets, of course, they tacked on. They got the lead there in the 5th inning. And then as we get to the 7th inning, this is where Jeff McNeil really starts to shine, not just with his offense, but with his defense. Makes a beautiful grab there in left field off the wall and ends up drilling out Arenado, trying to get to second base. Beautiful, beautiful throw to set up Gourmet there at second. Gets the out. A run does come in. It was a beautiful double play. Tommy Edmonds scores, but the Mets thankfully still had the lead at that point, 5-4. And then we get in the bottom of the 7th. Lindor get with a single, and at that point, Lindor was on base for 8 straight times over the past 24 hours. He ended up, again, not getting the final out there in the 9th, but that didn't matter anything, because Lindor got the game-winning run because of the, game-tying run, and then Alonso got the game-winning run with his home run there in the 10th. But Lindor single, Alonso single, and it hits off the pitcher there, but that's all they were able to do at the bottom of the 7th. They weren't able to score a run there. So then we get to the top of the 9th, okay? Eduardo Escobar mishandles a ball that brings in a run. Edwin Diaz has one of his few blown saves. You will not see Edwin blowing saves often, but I appreciate Edwin, because no ball came out of the infield in that instance. It was just some bad luck there. Again, Eduardo can handle it. He ended up kicking the ball, which was really frustrating. but no less, the Mets, they're down by 1 run, 6-5, entering, they get 2 extras there. Pardon me, I can't speak right now. The Mets were tied 5-5. Then as they went to the bottom of the ninth, couldn't get anything going there. Again, Diaz had the blue save, but this was not on Edwin today. Didn't have his best stuff, but again, Edwin had bases loaded with 2 outs. Normally, if that was old Edwin, he's giving up an absolute tank of a home run where the Mets have no chance of coming back. Thankfully, he only allowed that 1 run and kept the Mets in it, which is huge, because then we get to the top of the 10th. They score a run because, of course, you have that damn ghost runner on second. So annoying. Albert Pujols ends up bringing in that run because of, did Pujols bring in that run? Actually, yes, he did. A double play lets the Cards score there. So he didn't actually get the RBI, but fielder's choice reason, he was able to score there, that being Harrison Bader, I believe, for the Cardinals. But then we get to the bottom of the 10th, and as we've been ranting about right now, and we'll continue throughout the show, folks, Pete Alonso happened. Pete Alonso, no doubt, absolute bomb, over 440 feet tank to the left field, and that ended the game, folks. So in the total, the Mets win 7-6. Chris Bassett went 6.1 strong, gave up 9 hits and 4 runs and a walk, 3 strikeouts and 96 pitches. But again, Bassett is a bulldog, still kept the Mets in this game. You knew the offense would thrive. They were jumping on Hudson early, and they, again, were just relentless, like they've been in this series and like they've been all throughout the season for this team in Queens. I'm so proud of them, and especially with the Scherzer news today, we will take as many positives as we can possibly get. So is that more important? So, guys, as we go through Wardy's top 5 here, the line, I'll go through the lineup in a second, but specifically my top 5, it is started off with Pete Alonso, Big Meat Pete, Pistol Pete, Polar Bear Pete, however you want to call him. 3 for 4 with the home run. 3 RBIs and runs scored in a stolen base. His first stolen bag of the year. McNeil 1 for 4, but it doesn't matter. They got 1 hit because he was electric with the glove, made a couple diving catches, great catches in back-to-back innings. And again, that beautiful 3 RBI performance from McNeil tonight. You love to see that. Lindor 2 for 3. Lindor has looked really locked in at the plate over the past 2 games. Very happy with him. Again, on base 8 straight times that we saw, and then in that final out there in the 9th, didn't matter, got that run scored. I don't even have the run scored up there, but Lindor did get himself 3 runs scored today, and I'm actually an idiot. I don't know why I don't have the 3 runs scored there. I meant to put 3, so that's my mistake. Lindor got that 3rd run there in the bottom of the 10th because of the Alonso home run. 2 for 3 today, 3 runs scored in a stolen bag. Lindor now has 5 stolen bases on the year and is tied with Starling Marte for the team lead. Brandon Nimmo, 1 for 5, but had that RBI when needed and a run scored. Brandon doing things best, even if it's early in the game and not often, he's still getting on base because Nimmo also didn't have a walk today, surprisingly, but again, was able to get that RBI and run scored for the Mets in this one. And Guillorme had a criminally underrated day for the New York Mets. 2 for 4 with the double and a run scored. We take that, baby, 1,000%. And guys, going through the lineup as a whole, Nimmo again 1 for 5 with the run scored. Mark Canha 1 for 5 with a run scored. Lindor just spoke about him again, so don't need to say anything further. Same thing with Alonso. McNeil, Escobar 0 for 4 needs to be better. Eduardo's been so inconsistent for a couple weeks now, and now he's not consistent with the defense either. That needs to change. He really probably needs at least 1 off day. I would give him. Need to get him in a groove because when he's not just locked in offensively, but he's struggling defensively too, that's a problem, okay? And it's hard to justify having him in every day if this kind of slump doesn't snap out and fast. Then you have J.D. Davis. J.D. wasn't a help either. J.D. had the worst plate approach out of all Mets hitters today. 1 over 4 with 3 strikeouts. Just did not look good at all. Just had some lazy swings. I did not like J.D.'s approach whatsoever today. Another day where I have not liked J.D.'s approach. He's been far more a player this year where, unfortunately, while he's had some bad luck with lineouts that should have been hits, he also is someone that, again, did not have a good day today. And Guillorme talked about him. And Tomas Nido 1 for 3 from the catching position. So the Mets in back-to-back days getting some hits from the catching position. We take those. But Bassett, again, 6 solid innings for the most part. Again, not the best, but not the worst. Drew Smith with 1.2 scoreless. Love to see that. Had himself a 1 hit he gave up. No strikeouts, no walks, no earned runs. We take that. And when Diaz, again, did give up 2 hits and 1 earned run, but he did have 2 walks there and 2 strikeouts. So, again, not the best outing from Edwin. Couldn't get the save, but kept the Mets in it still, which I think is so important, knowing that he was facing normally a jam where in years past, Edwin doesn't get out of that inning only giving up a run. If you're lucky if he gets out of the inning giving up anything less than 2 or 3. But thankfully today and this season, this is a new Edwin Diaz that is looking so locked in even when he doesn't have his best stuff. And then Colin Holderman there to eat an inning for the Mets. Back-to-back days pitching for Holderman, and he now has 3 scoreless innings in his young career for the New York Mets this season. Did give up a hit and a run scored, but that was an unearned run, again, because of what we saw with the errors that the Mets have unfortunately been having. But guys, I want to know how you're feeling about the New York Mets in this massive victory. They have now, again, 12 games above 500. Who would have thought the team in Queens this early in the season, we're not even in June yet, 12 games above 500, and that means more now than it ever could, knowing the news regarding Max Scherzer that I will now be breaking down for you folks. And then once I'm done discussing that, I'll be getting your comments, questions, and concerns and cutting things off for people on replay. Once more, I will have a video out on Scherzer tomorrow. Goal is to have it out earlier in the day, separate from doing a series preview for the Rockies game and separate from doing post-game show after the first game against the Rockies, should it not be rain out or something late tomorrow in Colorado. But Mad Max, we were all praying yesterday that it wouldn't be a serious injury, and unfortunately the MRI results showed that yes, it is one. He's out long-term, just like DeGrom. They're both going to be expected to come back around the same time at the All-Star break, but that means we do not have Mad Max for 2 months now because of his left oblique strain. So unfortunate, worst timing. But again, thankfully, beyond anything else, even with Tyler McGill being out for a couple weeks still, the Mets are 12 games above 500. This is a cushion that they're going to need so bad, knowing that they have a 6-game road trip that starts tomorrow, and then they have a grueling 3-series road trip against the top teams in Cali starting June, and the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Angels. That makes it that much more vital that you already have a strong lead in the division, because who knows how they're going to perform with these tough stretches coming up, really starting tomorrow until we get to mid to late June. Yeah, the Mets do have one of the hardest schedules in baseball. That's not slowing down anytime soon, but Mad Max, losing him is nothing short of heartbreaking. I still have that sour taste in my mouth. I'm frustrated as all hell by it. It sucks. He's 37 years of age. I'm not surprised that it's going to take him a while. Obliques you can't rush. We saw that with Lindor last year. Lindor missed a month and a half at minimum with his oblique from hurting his swing, hurting himself on his swing in that Pittsburgh series in Pittsburgh. Oh my God, that still haunts me this day. But thankfully, again, the Mets are a team that are resilient. I trust in them. I do think that they'll be able to come out of this okay. But what is going to happen with the team now? Are they going to stay internal? Because Trevor Williams and David Pearson are now your 4th and 5th starters until you at minimum get McGill back, and he's still over 2 weeks away. So it's going to be a while until the Mets have the rotation how they want it. And yes, I know that people would love to say, oh, DeGrom and Scherzer back will be like trade deadline acquisitions. But no, you can't view that. The Mets are a team where they cannot sacrifice really collapsing here when you know you have such a tough schedule. They did, however, last weekend, that's just became public now through the New York Post, they did sign veteran right-handed starting pitcher Trevor Cahill, who didn't have a good year with the Pirates last year, but again, is a veteran arm that adds depth to this team, but he still needs to get fully ramped up. Didn't have a normal spring or anything. So the Mets' hands are really tied on the pitching front. And while it will not be easy at all to try to acquire any starter of significance prior to the trade deadline, you'd have to imagine that the Mets are at minimum doing their due diligence now. And there are names out there. We all know who they are. We all know who the top guys are out there that you thought maybe would have been traded in the offseason. Will they be potentially traded now? We are seeing some rumors regarding the San Francisco Giants going after those couple starters in Cincinnati. I've seen some connections with the Mets and a starter in Cincinnati as well by the name of Tyler Mahle that we discussed in the offseason as the Mets showed interest. So guys, going to put a rain check on that discussion. I know you're going to have comments and I will answer them plenty here in the show for my people in the live stream. But yes, I'll be breaking down exactly what I believe the Mets would, should, and potentially can do regarding Scherzer being out, McGill out, and DeGrom out, losing arguably your 3 best starters right in this rotation for a bit. That definitely doesn't help at all. Will the Mets be able to acquire someone? I surely believe that they will have the opportunity. Now, whether they seek it fully, whether they can find a deal at the right price is a different discussion. But at this juncture, it is safe to say that, yes, it wouldn't be outlandish if the Mets maybe make a trade, maybe make it not necessarily a desperation move, but definitely acquire someone that could help them not just potentially this season, but also in the years going forward, knowing that when you lose not just your number 1, but your number 2, your back-to-back aces in the rotation for an extended period of time, when you have a ridiculously tough stretch coming up over the next couple weeks to a month, yeah, it definitely can rightfully argue that it should be warranted of landing a starter of significance To what degree, we'll find out. And yes, there will be rumblings, I'm sure, leading up to a potential deal or not. But stay tuned. I will have a video out early tomorrow in regards to that, folks. Only reason why I'm not having out tonight is given my schedule. And of course, we have the post-game show as is. So want us to enjoy this win. And then tomorrow, I'd say we reassess and focus on how to properly go about losing Max Scherzer for a minimum of 2 months, to be quite frank. But guys, for people on replay, which is none of my live viewers, my 400 plus, this is where I'll be cutting things off. I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about the New York Mets winning? Yes, 3 of 4 in a 4-game set against the Cardinals, winning off of a walk-off thanks to Pete Alonso with that absolute piss missile bomb there in the bottom of the 10th. And also the Mets 12 games above 500. How do you want them to operate with this rotation? Make sure to let me know in the comments. Again, people in the live stream, I'm going to start answering all your comments, questions, and concerns right now. People on replay, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button if you ended up enjoying this kind of Mets content. Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, let's go Mets, baby.